Hello everyone, guys. Today we will start the functional dependency. What is exactly the functional dependency? As we are doing the functional dependency and normalization, it is a base topic of all these sections. So let's start with the functional dependency. What is exactly functional dependency? See, it is a result of interrelationship between attributes or inner tuples in any relation. If we have a table or relation and we find any result on the basis of interrelationship between attributes or tuples, then we will say that it is this kind of functional dependent or this kind of functional dependent. Okay guys, we will see much in depth with the example. Don't worry about that. Let's see more things. It helps in normalization and reduces the redundancy. At the time of normalization, we use the functional dependencies concept, which helps in reducing the redundancy in normalization. Okay guys, after that, in relation, let's see the in relation R. If we have a relation R, then X and Y, we are supposing X and Y are two subsets of set of attributes. We have a table R and we have a 10 to 12 attributes, that is a set of attributes. Then from that attributes, we are considering two subset that is X and Y. Then Y is said to be functional dependent. Then Y is said to be functional dependent on X if a given value of all the attributes in X uniquely determines the value of Y. That means if we have the X and Y or set of X and Y, attributes of X and Y, we can say in any manner. So it depends all the values of X attributes uniquely identifies or determines the value of all the attributes in Y. Then we will say that the Y is said to be the functionally dependent on X only when we get the unique value. Remember that we have to get the unique value. Okay. So we represent it by the X arrow to Y. That means Y is functionally dependence of Y depends on X, or we can also say X determines the value of Y. Okay guys. So there is an example. Let's see. We have a table and there is an attribute named X and Y. They are their corresponding values. Okay guys. So from these values we have to say that the X arrow Y, that means Y depends on X. That means for every value of X there is a unique value of Y. So let's check. If we have A here, then we have a value 1. If we have a B here, we have a 22. That is a unique value. If we have a, then again we have a same value. That should be there, because it says that if Y functionally dependent on X, then there should be that T1X. That means there is a T1 is tuple 1 from X. T1X, that means A, let's take A, gives is equal to T2 text. That means there is another tuple which has the same value as value in T1. That means A. Then T1Y is equal to T2Y. That means the corresponding value of here is 1. So there should be 1. Here is 1. That means yes, it is functionally dependent and follows all the rules. After that, X is known as the determinants and the Y is known as the dependent. Okay guys. Let's see another example. You will be more clear about that. There is a table employees. There are 3 columns: EID, name and salary. EID is a primary key of that table. So we said that key X is here is EID column. Okay. Then arrow Y, that means name and salary. We are considering both attribute here. So name and salary combinedly, name and salary functionally dependent on EID. Name and salary functionally dependent on EID. That means here we can also represent that if we have a 1 attribute here and if we have a 2 attributes here, then we can write in also in this manner: EID arrow Y, that means name is uniquely identified by EID. Okay guys, yeah, name is functionally dependent on EID. And we can separately also write that the salary depends on EID, if salary functionally dependent on salary. So we can write it separately. Okay guys, so this is the main scenario of writing these things. After that, if we have to present in a diagram form, so we have a functional dependency chart. Okay guys, so let's see that this functional dependency chart, we have a rectangle. Over there we have written the employee, that is a table name. In that we enter the key attributes. Okay guys, key attributes. we have to write the key attribute inside that rectangle into the rectangle box. So in it we have a key attribute that is EID. Okay guys, and after that outside this box we write the all non-key prime attributes or those attributes which are dependent on the determinants. Okay, so we have a name and salary, they both depend on EID, so both are outside. So from this to this, EID determines salary, EID determines name. Okay guys, so we have to make this chart. There is another example which is quite easy, but you have to remember one thing. See, there is a table which has 4 columns, that is professor code, department code, department, time and the head. There is a table named professor. Okay, in a professor table we have a 4 column PF code, that is professor code, department, then time and head. So in a rectangle we have entered the 2 key, we have a 2 key, that is professor code and the department. Okay, so this has 2 arrows from PF code to department. Remember, this means that key one professor can work in many departments. One professor can work in many departments. He can be in this department or this department. It is not necessary that it always belongs to one department. One professor always belongs to one department. It is not necessary. Okay, it may be finance department, admin department, or any department. Okay, so see the arrow first. See, this arrow belongs to this outside the box. That means all the keys inside this box will combinedly uniquely identify this. That means we have to write this PF code, comma, department, determines time. Okay, one of them cannot uniquely identify the time. That is the, you cannot say this is the PF code, tell me the time. No, you cannot find. Or you say this is a department name, you find me or tell me the time. No, both this professor code works in this department. What is exactly its time? So you can write yes, it is a, so you have to take both values. Remember, after that there is a department to head. See, there is an arrow from department to head, not from the that table. So we have to write department arrow head. Head functionally dependent on department because we can find the head of the department. How? Because there is always be one head of a department, so that is called as a HOD. So if you tell that this is the department name, tell me the HOD or the head, you can say this is the head, this is the head of this department. So yes, this is completely depend on this. So that means we can uniquely find the value of head by finding the value of department. So we give the name of department, you can find the head name, or if you give the head name you can find the department name. Okay guys, so this is a uniquely dependent. Okay, so this is all about the functional dependency. After that we will discuss the more about the functional dependency and the normalization in the next session. So if my videos are helping you, please like and share these videos and subscribe the channel, and please follow the playlist of all these videos, and its link is under the description of this video. Thank you guys.